Hello people, my name is LeeDavy and I help people live a self-led life. What is that? Well, when I was 35 years of age, I quit drinking alcohol and it felt like I had been released from the matrix. All of a sudden, I could see life with clarity in a very different way. I felt for the first time that I was making conscious decisions and it blew my mind. It was terrifying. I lost everything, lost everybody, everything changed. And at the same time with that terror was excitement, liberation, freedom, because all of a sudden I wasn't in the passenger seat of this self-automated driving car. I was actually in the steering wheel and I was dictating where I wanted to go, what speed I wanted to go at, and what view I was going to watch on the way, right? This was when I was 35. So for the next 10 years, 35 to 45, I started helping people to quit alcohol. And I thought that I was on this next level plane of consciousness until my wife asked for a divorce. Then I had to look inside myself and say, well, hang on a minute. I'm at this new level of consciousness. I am alcohol free as fuck. And my wife is still asking me for a divorce. What is going on? That is when I realized that for me, coming out of the matrix is multi-layered. There are multi-layers of consciousness. Or if Krasimir Dabrowski says, there are multi-layers of positive disintegration. So then I went into a deep dive, really learned more about the inner children, the parts of my personality that take up my ego, that are really running my life and were running my life even though I had stopped drinking alcohol. And I realized that actually I was a boy in a man's body. What does that mean? The juvenile parts of me that were really hurt, traumatized, terrified when I was a kid were actually in the driving seat driving my car. I wasn't as in control as I thought I was. And as a result of that, I was not present, I was not grounded, I was not a man. And that rubbed off on the people around me who I loved. My wife in particular, who said, have you any idea what it's like to be married to a boy? So doing the work, healing my inner children, most importantly, the healing is recognizing that they're there and they are hurt and they're afraid and they're acting in ways that kids act when they're terrified. Seeing them, making them feel heard, making them feel loved, and learning to identify my sense of self, that part of me that is above the line, that part of me that is conscious, that is calm, that is compassionate, and connecting the two. Almost like, I like to say your external world mirrors your internal world and vice versa. So if you've got kids, you'll understand this, right? The way that you teach your kids on the outside is the way you'll teach your kids on the inside and vice versa. So I started to really treat my kids how I really would have liked to be treated when I was younger. And as a result of that, I started treating my children externally, my son and my daughter, in the same way. What happens when you slip into a greater sense of self-awareness is you don't miraculously all of a sudden become Zen-like and start living this self-led life all the time. But you start to know the difference between being above the line, being in self-energy, which is what I'm in right now, and being below the line when you're in parts energy, maybe when you've just been triggered by something that somebody has said. That raising of the self-awareness is really important because at Strive, our work is about continually improving our self-awareness and continually course correcting. What do I mean by that? You are always going to fight. You're always going to have ruptures. The most important thing is learning to be aware when you've had them and then getting back into integrity by having great repair work. Best way of putting it, at Strive, we continually screw up. We love ourselves and accept that that is what we will do. And then we work very, very hard at putting that right. Taking responsibility, communicating more effectively, and showing people that we see them, that we hear them, and that we matter. And that will mirror back to ourselves, that we see ourselves, we hear ourselves, and that ourselves matter, right? So what I'm saying is, there is everything that you need to be the greatest version of you and to live a self-led life is inside you. But sometimes we need guides and we need people around us that could help us access that gold. And that's what we do at Strive, right? It's like we help you find the power within yourself to finally take control of that steering wheel and be your true self more often than you are today. We never want to kill our parts. We never want to get rid of the worst parts of ourselves. we want to listen to them, we want to love them, and we want to allow them to have a voice, just like all your children in your house, your physical ones, want exactly the same thing from you. Okay? All right, much love.